I'm going to go to effects. So on my screen here, it's a little tab right here. It says effects. If you don't see effects, go up to window and then click on effects. And then it has a check mark. You should be able to see it. And under effects, it has audio effects, transitions, video effects and transitions. If I scroll down video effects, you'll see a lot of different options, everything from color correction and blur, stylize, transform, a lot of different stuff that we're not going to be using yet. You can also do a search for a specific effect. And what we're going to use is a Gaussian blur. So it's under the blur and sharpen options, or you can just type in GAUSS and it should pop up here, Gaussian blur. To add this effect to our clip, all you have to do is click, drag it over, and drop it on this cutout section of the clip. If I did not cut just this one scene from the video, the effect would be applied on the whole video, which you don't really want that to happen. Just want it on this one scene right here. Okay? Everybody with me? Got the Gaussian blur? All right. Once you've applied an effect on a clip, to edit that effect and to edit anything else on that video, go up to Effect Controls. Now again, for me, now it's at the top left. If you don't see it, you can go to Window, click on Effect Controls. Here it is for me. And for video, I see I can edit motion, opacity, and now there's a Gaussian blur on there as well. I can toggle down the little drop down arrows. Just as reference, this is where you can change the scale of the video. I can zoom in and zoom out. You can rotate the video. You can move it left and right or up and down. We want to go to Gaussian blur. So the main setting that can be edited is blurriness. So right now it's at 0. There's no blur that's been added. You can click on the number, type in a number you want, but I find it to be easier if you actually just click and hold down and move your mouse. You can slide the number left and right and increase or decrease blurriness. I find that to be the easiest way. But you're also welcome to click in there, type in something like 40. So I'm going to make it pretty blurry to start out. Now remember, there has to be the effect of an extreme shallow depth of field. So we have to make this blur effect only apply to a certain region. Usually top and bottom. Sometimes you can have diagonals depending on the composition of your shot. So to do this, we have to mask the effect. Masking creates a specific area where only that area has the effect applied. I'm actually gonna, so I'm not gonna zoom out my video, but I'm going to change the viewing area so that I can see around the frame. And now under Gaussian blur, you see a little an ellipse, a rectangle, and what looks like a pin, like an old-time pin. So we call this the pin tool. If you hover over it, it says Free Draw Bezier. If I click on that, it makes a new path. I can come over to my video frame, and my cursor looks like, I know it's hard to see on the projector, but my cursor looks like the pin tool. I'm going to click outside of the frame. I'm going to do this quickly. It'll probably be a little bit sloppy at first, but just as an example. I'm going to make an anchor point. So I made a blue anchor point here. I'm going to come over to the right side, click again. You'll notice it makes a blue line. I'm going to go from the top all the way around and then connect it at the very start to complete the mask. Now you'll notice, now that I've completed this area of the mask, you have everything inside this box that I just made is blurry, and everything outside of the box is back to the original video. So again, this mask is controlling the area where the effect is being applied. It's not being applied down here. It's being applied just within this box that I made. We'll do this one more time. So I clicked on the pin tool again. Don't worry that it goes back to being completely blurry. Now I'm going, so I did it for the top section. Now I'm going to do it for the bottom section. Left, right, around the bottom, and then put it together. So now I have a blurry area above and below with two masks, top one, bottom one. Okay, everybody see that? I'm gonna really bump up the blurriness so you can really see the difference. So I have this one sliver through a little bit below the middle of the frame that's in focus, and the masks above and below that are controlling the blurriness. All right, take it back down. All right, now this is also a good example of what I was talking about with this sharp line that suddenly goes from blurry to sharp. This does not look realistic. We want it to be smooth. To do that, we're going to increase the mask feather. So let's start with the top one. So mask feather is this setting here. I'm going to click and drag the number to the right, and you'll notice now it's suddenly getting softer. I'll do that with the bottom one. I'll take down blurriness a little bit. Back to about here. And just like that, we're already starting to get the effect. So this is without the blur effect. Everything is in focus. And now with it turned on. Now you'll also notice I mentioned about keeping the camera steady. Well, unfortunately, this demo footage is moving. It's a drone shot, so the drone is flying over the street. So that's not ideal. but we still have the effect. Now the rest of it, you're gonna be playing with the settings for the mask feather and blurriness. Some shots may need a little bit more blur, some less, some maybe more feather or less feather. These are things you're gonna have to work with and tweak depending on the individual shots that you have and you're working with. All right, next up is how to speed up the footage. It's very simple. When I have a clip selected, you can right-click or control-click on the clip in your timeline. And then look for speed duration. So actually, before I do that, let's see how long this shot is. So it starts at 27. So it's only 6 seconds long. So if I speed it up, it's going to get really short, but that's fine. It's just a demo. So let's try it at 3 times the speed, so that's 300%. Press OK. Now you'll notice there's a little gap in here. This is where the clip was shortened because it's now much faster, so it takes less time. So you'll have to adjust your clips, move them together. Let's play it, let's see how this looks. That's not bad. I actually probably could be a little bit slower. We go back to speed duration. Let's just do 200%, so just doubling it. This blurry area, top and bottom, and in focus area is actually a little higher than I want it. I want it to be kind of right here to be more in focus. So you can go back in and edit the masks you made. So if I have my clip selected, I go back to the masks under my Gaussian blur effect. I've selected mask 2, it's the bottom one. I can click on the anchor points on the edges and I can move them around. So I'm going to move all of this down. All right, so this is basically the whole process. Now, your footage, or this footage here, already has some color grading and effects applied to it. The footage you get with the cameras will not look like this, so you'll have to go back up, adjust the color. Usually, it's nice to increase the saturation and sharpen it. It makes it look a little unnatural, but again, that's usually enhances the effect because it makes it look more like a toy world instead of the normal world. So I would recommend increasing saturation and sharpness. Oh, I should also mention, so you do have to put a title card on. Okay, so on the left side, you have the tools here. There's a type tool. Looks like the letter T, capital T. You can click on that, and you come directly on top of the video here. Click and drag a text box. I know it's hard to see, but it's actually this little red line. And then you can, well, actually, tilt shift, put in your name, and then you can make it look good by, it automatically makes a layer here, a video layer. See this pink one? This is the layer for the title I just made. Over on the effect controls, you'll see for graphics, the text. I can toggle this down, and then I have options to change. Oh, I gotta select it first. I can change the typeface. Change size. Change color. Make it bold. Things like that. So it's very simple. You don't have to overthink this as well. You can just have the title over part of the video, just at the very beginning. Have it last, 3 or 4 seconds, something like that.